What's going on, family? What's going on? Before we get started, real quick, shout out to everybody in the chat already. Tyrion, how you doing? Neo Black, how you doing? How you doing, family? Before we get started, let me read this real quick, okay? Um, just like the middle part. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. I got that my thing down there, but you get what I'm saying. I read the Copyright Act, okay? Uh, okay. Uh, my voice channel be one to you, brother. Okay. Why's my? Oh, everybody, we're here. We're pretty much on time. We are pretty much on time tonight. Okay. This is a good thing. This is a really good thing. Okay. The channel has really been taken off. So first off, big shout out to Torian Rain Reloaded for that live, because that was really helpful. So you guys definitely want to check that out. We did that last week. You definitely want to check that out if you could not. I've gotten a lot of people message me about that. Like, y'all went 3 hours for real? Like, I sent it to them like 3 hours. Are you serious? Yeah, I saw that on your I saw that immigrant bill got shut down, which is exactly what it was. It was an immigrant bill. It was a bill to give illegals the right to vote, which was their hopes of replacing us, because they know that as far as voting goes, we're kind of really not going for that no more. We're starting to realize that we're not really getting the promises that's been promised to us. Okay, even Joe Biden was interviewed, or Joe Biden had like a press conference or something, where the interviewer was talking to him, and she was like, the black voters are disappointed in you. The black voters feel like you haven't done anything for them. And then he goes off and talk, and she said too, she also said, oh, they're feeling like this John Lewis Voting Rights Act, or whatever the name of the bill is, they feel like that's fake. They feel like that's just a publicity stunt, that's not going to do anything. He paused for like a good minute. Then he went, oh, well, you got to understand, it's the timing and everybody's unhappy. And then, but the voting, like he babbled and babbled. He completely was not ready for that. He was not ready for that. Okay. He was not ready for that at all. And it's a good thing that bill got shut down, because they know for a fact that we're at this point. Black America is at this point where we're willing to completely withhold our vote. If we don't have any tangibles, okay? We're definitely at this point, and no tangibles, no vote. We want reparations. We want this. We want exclusive policies, the exclusive policies that you don't mind giving to everybody else, the other ethnic groups who don't even vote for you like we do. You give them everything they need and more. But we have to wait, and we have to have the Senate and the Senate and the what's that thing called? Senate and the House agree on something. Everybody in the world has to agree on something for us to get it. Then it's a waiting process. Then we got to study it. Then we got to study it some more. So no. So we like, okay, we're not going to vote then. And they failed, but they attempted to replace us. That didn't work. Okay. Didn't work. Lower this down just a tad bit. Shout out to everybody in the chat already. Now, let me make some announcements. I'm gonna try to get a lot better with responding to comments. Sometimes, and it's not really all my fault, but sometimes it is my fault. Sometimes I don't check my comments like every day. What I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna just start checking my comments every day. Every night before I go to sleep or something, I'm gonna check my comment. Okay, so the comment section on my YouTube algorithm to reply to your comments, because sometimes I see there's a really good comment, but it was left like 4 months ago, and I'm like, damn, I really wish that person probably feels like I ignored them. So I'm gonna get better at that. But there was this one comment that was left up a little bit ago. I think it was yesterday. yesterday or the day before. I responded to it today, so I think it was yesterday, right? And this comment was left on the video that I did, where I talked about the bar. If you guys remember the barbershop, where I was talking about how they project this hypersexualized black male, and there was this barbershop scene from this TV show. I forgot the name of the TV show, but it really doesn't matter. But the barbershop scene where the black woman was getting her hair cut and the black dude was talking all vulgar and very graphic, like very overly sexually graphic, and she was asking him to stop, and he was all like, no, you shouldn't even be up in here. This is a place for men, like something like something like that. And I said that was completely unrealistic. So she replied to that video. Okay, this is what she had to say. Right here. It's a long thing, so I'm gonna read it for you. Okay. Few things. Your personal anecdotal experience does not, all caps, does not negate the experience of countless black women and queer folks who have said that they have experienced this type of shit of, I'm just gonna read it, shit at barbershops, okay? There are whole ass documentaries that have been made on this. What y'all are doing is the same thing white people do when they try to deny that racism exists. Okay. Let me reply to the first thing. Let me reply to I think the show was Harlem. Yeah, it was Harlem. It was Harlem, starring Megan Good. Thank you. It was Harlem. Okay. Let me reply to the first thing. In the broadcast that I did, where I replied to that clip of the TV show or the program or whatever, right? I showed you a thread because it was trending on Twitter a little bit. I showed you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other black men who testified to the same thing that I was talking about, okay? I didn't pick my anecdotal experience saying that, okay, I've never experienced this, so this did not happen. I scrolled through hundreds and hundreds of black men and black women who was like, okay, this is completely unrealistic. I know black men who work at barbershops who was like, oh, that would never happen. We would never allow that to happen. There are black women who work at barbershops, okay, who would look at that clip and be all like, that's ridiculous. Okay? That's ridiculous. That would never happen. I didn't pick anything that was anecdotal. She's saying here that I'm trying to deny. First off, she said there's whole ass documentaries made on. Are there documentaries made on barbershops? I've yet to see a documentary made. She said documentaries about what exactly? Please don't tell me that there are documentaries made on barbershop experience. I like what is she talking about? There's documentaries made on it, right? Okay. That's Cynthia G. So you're saying I got into her. What? Oh, so this is Cynthia G. Okay. Cynthia G. Oh, okay. So Cynthia G knows who I am now. Because I was just about to talk about, I have some things to talk about. Not her specifically, right? Now, this she also goes to say, y'all are doing the same thing white people do when they try to deny racism. Here is my issue with that. Here is my thing with that. What they do is they project a very harmful stereotype onto black males, specifically straight black males, okay? A very over-sexualized, like sexist, heartless, demonic stereotype onto straight black males, and then when we say, hey, we're not like that, hey, we don't do that, that's not how we get down, that's not our culture, then they'll say, oh, you're denying it just like the white people deny racism. No, we're not playing that game. We're not doing that. If anything, that little, let's say that actually did happen to the director and she wanted to put that in there. If anything, that's an anecdotal thing. She's saying there's countless black women and queer folks who can deny this happening to them at barbershops. No, they're not. No, they're not. Show me that. Show me that, okay? Show me where that would happen. Show me. Because you're just saying that. I've actually shown you black people who have denied that. You're not showing me any black people who verified that that is an experience that they have had. Even the comments that was agreeing, they didn't say that that was an experience they had. They were just saying that that's something that could happen. Okay? Now, on to the next point. Y'all are completely missing the point. The scene was over dramatized, something like, I guess that's how it's pronounced, for a reason to get people talking. The scene was fake. That was what it is. The scene was fake. The scene doesn't happen in black society, especially Black American, Foundation Black American, descendant of slave. It doesn't happen in our society, our culture. That's not how we get down. So you can say, oh, the scene, it might have been exaggerated, but it happens. No, it doesn't happen. It wasn't exaggerated. It was an anti-black male projection. Okay, that is to project a harmful stereotype and the anti-straight black male propaganda. That's what it was. Okay, now she says something. I'm gonna scroll down right here. Right? She says, the complete lack of self-awareness is something you straight black men, the complete lack of self-awareness from you straight black men is hilarious. Okay. You have been the most vocal against the show who've been the most vocal against the show are known to have a history of homophobia and misogyny. Okay. We've been where is our history of homophobia? Where is the straight black man's history of homophobia and misogyny? Let's point to it. Because at this point it's really a projection. Because you're saying this and then we're gonna just deny it. Why don't you say? Because if you ask me to point to a history of racism from the dominant society, I can give you several instances, several cases in history and modern day studies and facts to back it up. You can't give me any of those things. All of your things are reaches at best to prove anything that you're saying. You're saying the black community, the straight black male has a history of misogyny, but for what, the last 50 years or so, we've been living in what they call that, a matriarchy. We've been living where the women have gotten preferential treatment to the small extent that they do in comparison to their white counterparts. But we've been living in a society that oppresses the straight black males more. And I have actually shown studies that prove that to be the case. Okay? See, that's the difference between when me and you get into it. I have studies, I have statistics that I constantly keep bringing up to verify my points. You're talking about, well, you have to recognize my feelings. You have to accept my experience. You can't deny this. I'm not asking you guys to believe anything just off the fact that I'm saying it. I am verifying what I'm saying. I have verified a study. I've verified studies saying that the straight black man is more targeted because he is the black man and because he is the direct opposition to the straight white man. Okay? Now, you yourself have been, this is where she goes after me, you yourself have been called out numerous times on Twitter. I mean, you have referred to LGBTQ people as the pronoun people. Okay. The LGBT, I just laugh every time I read it. The pronoun people and the title of this window, which has now become a slur. Yeah, now I use pronoun people. Oh, it's become a slur? Oh, my term is picking up, I guess. And you know what they say, only the guilty. Now this is what I really don't like about the whole response. How she's like, you know what they say, only the guilty respond. Who says that? I've never heard nobody say that. Only the guilty respond. Only the guilty respond. I'm a hit you, and if you hit me back, you're wrong for it. What is it? You made a whole paragraph. This can fill a page of a book. This can fill a page of a book, and then say, if you respond, that makes you automatically guilty. What? What? How you? What? What hell? No. Clearly, she couldn't take the smoke. That's what it was, and that's what a lot of them do. They dragged me. They called me out on Twitter, but the second I respond to them, they don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to go anywhere. Oh, Sebastian, how you doing? Vovo Rance in here. What's up, Vovo? Let me see. Now, with the term pronoun people, okay? With the term pronoun people, I am referring to them as pronoun people because they decide, because Twitter doesn't make you do it. They decide to put their pronouns in their Twitter bio. That or their Twitter bio or their Instagram bio or whatever bio. It's mainly on Twitter though. Twitter and Instagram, but mainly on Twitter from what I've seen. They decide to do that. I didn't decide to do that, and they decide to do that, and there is a commonality in their ideology as to why they do that. So I am categorizing them based off of an action that they willingly did. Based off their own volition, they put that in there. So I'm saying, okay, people in this category, the pronoun people who are in this category, who want it to be known. You don't put anything in your Twitter bio unless you want it to be known. You want your pronouns to be out there in front of the world. So me calling you pronoun people shouldn't be that bad. That's what you guys are. Okay, and secondly, nobody has called me out on Twitter. Yeah, I have a lot of haters. I have a lot of trolls. Y'all think y'all calling me out, but the second I respond to y'all don't come anywhere. If y'all want to call me out, I'm on live every week. Okay, there's times, and I will tell y'all, I open up the call line, and I'll let people call in. Y'all don't want to show up. I have trolls in the chat room sometimes who troll the entire program. And then the second I open up the phone lines, they don't want to call up. So, no, y'all not calling me out, because if you were calling me out, you could do a live. I don't mind going live with nobody about things I disagree with or I agree with. Y'all just too scared to say anything. Clearly, with her last, if you respond, you're guilty. Clearly, you mean you're scared. That's what that means. Yeah, only the guilty respond is a form of gaslighting. Either you allow the lie to go unchallenged, or you respond making you automatically guilty. Exactly. Like, come on now. Come on, you tried to finesse your way into a win. Stacy, sister, how you doing? Be one to you. Like, come on. That is ridiculous, but that is the mind frame. I'm a Zaza G. I'm not. This is my first time ever hearing of her. I don't know if this is like a thing of I don't know if this is like Cynthia G. I did think something was up with the G. I think if that isn't specifically Cynthia G, that is maybe a close follower to Cynthia G. But okay, either way, this stuff is ridiculous. And she clearly didn't want me to respond, otherwise she wouldn't have said that gaslighting ass statement before she left. Okay. Now, we're going to be talking about divesters, and specifically a specific one. I think her name is Mahogany Pink, something like that. I don't know. And the reason why, now, as far as interracial dating in general, as far as black, I don't really care what you do it if you're not black. I really don't care what them people do. But as far as black people, I think that is something we should steer clear away from. Okay, and I make no bones about it. I will say that to anybody. I have people who follow me or who subscribe to this channel. I'm not gonna say followers. I'm not a celebrity, but I have people who subscribe to this channel who are in interracial marriages and in interracial relationships, and it does bother them when I speak against it. But I speak against it regardless, because I have to speak the truth. I do not approve of that. I think that is something that black people should stay clear away from. Okay, whether you're a black male or a black female, I'm not going to give the thumbs up to either one. I'm just gonna be real. It doesn't even have to necessarily be a white man or a white woman. It could be any non-black person. I'm not gonna give a thumbs up to it. Okay, and I will stand on that, and I don't care who dislikes that. But I'm not in somebody's business. If you do what you do, then that's your business. I can't tell you, oh, you have to be with a black. I can't make you do that. I'm not gonna mistreat you for doing that. I can have opinions. I can dislike or like something. I can have opinions on it. But I will keep my opinions to myself. That's not my relationship. That's your relationship. That was your decision to do what you wanted to do. So okay. That's you. But I have a problem. Yeah, okay. Bring it up. The reason why interracial relationship, and let's say the world was perfect. The world is absolutely perfect. There's no racism. There is everybody is colorblind. You really don't even notice the other person's race. Then yeah, sure. If there was no racism, okay? But that's not the world we live in. I have to be realistic to the world we live in. This isn't about hate. Oh, you just hate them all. No. This is about the world that we live in, and being realistic to the world that we live in. Interracial relationships is something that black people should steer away from. First of all, just why? But I mean, why would you? But still, it's something we should steer away from, given the society that we all live in. Okay, this isn't just about whatchamacallit. This isn't just about my opinion. This is about the way the world is. This isn't just about America. This is about the way the world is. Okay. Well, when you said bring me on later, yeah, I might. Yeah, if I got time, I got a video to watch. Hopefully, you stick to the end. I'll open the phone lines up in the end because I haven't done that. Have I done that this year? Maybe, but yeah, I need to do that more. That's something too. I'm gonna start doing more often too, because I like to hear you all's opinion. Now, I stumbled across this video. I really don't know how, just a small clip from it, and I had to look in to see this video. Now, let me click. This video is from a divester. And this isn't, now when people talk about divesters and stuff like that, these divesters actually have a pretty decent following. These divesters aren't small little people who only reach a couple hundred people. These divestors have thousands and thousands of people. This channel specifically has, now she has her subscriptions hidden, but look at the views. This has 300,000. This has 300,025 views. 300,025 views. Okay. Look at the likes. It's 27,000 likes. Okay. And then the you gotta scroll all the way down to the comments. All the way down to the comments. It has over 7,000 comments. Okay. So this isn't, she's not like a small, this isn't a small thing. This isn't a small problem. This is a big problem. And the reason why I have this, okay, yeah, divesting is not something I approve of, but you can do what you want to do. But I have an issue when you manipulate and when you try to project falsehood onto young, impressionable black people and lead them into a direction that is dangerous for them. Okay. We were just talking about a few weeks ago, a sister named Lauren Field Smith, okay, who went on a Bumble date. If you guys remember that, she went on a Bumble date and she got murdered. And she turns out, unfortunately, was following one of these divestment channels. I'm not sure if it was her specifically, this woman specifically, but she was following one of these divestment channels, okay? These divestment channels lead young, impressionable black women who, unfortunately, for whatever reason, might be hurt by a black man or might have some daddy issues or whatever the case may be. But they're hurt and impressionable, and it leads them into a dangerous path just because she might like plantation sex. She might like that slave play thing. and she's trying to get younger black women into a dangerous situation. That's the issue I have, because she's going to demonize, generalize, and demonize black men all day long, but she won't do that with the dominant society. She won't do that with white men. She won't do that with them. There's never, you notice with the divesters, there's never any generalization of white people, of white men specifically. There's generalization of black men in a negative light. There's no generalization of black women in a negative light, but there's generalization of black men. And that is the problem, because when you have influencers who have hundreds of thousands of people watching them, and they spewing lies as if it's facts, and young people who are impressionable and do not have the knowledge to negate what they're saying, listen and are influenced by this, get led into the wrong direction. And then she's not going to talk about that. She hasn't made a video on Lauren Field Smith. She hasn't made a video about all those black women who've been killed by the killer zaddy. She hasn't made a video about that because she doesn't want to make her white zaddy seem like a bad dude. Okay? But I'm going to play this video. Now, she made a part 2. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get into the part 2 in this specific broadcast. We might. I sped it up a little bit. Now, I already read the Copyright Act, and the link, her link is in the description.
Ever since you...
Okay, so I'm going to start it now.
were a little girl, you've been seeing images of black love on the TV screen. Ever since you were a little girl, you've been seeing images of black love on the TV screen that looked like this, or this, or this. But in reality, black love has always looked a little more like this.
Extra aggressive.
You are the fuck.
Investigators say after killing Kenyatta, O'Neill brutally murdered his 9-year-old daughter, Ranivia, and tried to stab to death his 8-year-old son, also named Ronnie, before setting him and the house on fire.
In case you didn't know, sociologists that have studied...
Okay, I'm just off top, and I'm trying not to pause it as much as I can, so you guys can actually like see it, so it doesn't be this long, it doesn't take this long. But just off the top, she picked like the most extreme ratchet examples to say that that's black love. What? Extreme ratchet examples to say that? An anecdotal situation of a black man killing his wife, kid, and himself. What do they call that term? Like a murder suicide, and say that's an example of black love. How many of those cases do you see with white males? Let's just be real. How many of those cases do you see? They got a whole TV show of white people just going crazy and killing their families, but she's not gonna mention that. She's just gonna say stuff about black males. Like, really?
The decline and dysfunction of the black American family are for the most part in agreement. The model of exclusive black love, that is to say a culture where black people in America will only make themselves romantically available to other black people in America, is unsustainable. Specifically, black women's collective decision to make themselves exclusively available to black men is unsustainable.
Since she's going a little bit faster, because I did speed the video up, I sped it up just a little bit. I'm gonna turn the captions on. I'm gonna try to lift it. I'll put it back.
Sustainable.
Okay, well, it's fine right there. Hopefully you guys can see it.
Why? Well, short answer, there aren't enough marriageable hetero black men to meet the demand of marriageable hetero black women. Most experts name mass incarceration as the leading cause, but whatever you think the issue is, the fact remains that the community has a shortage of gainfully employed black men who can support a family and are looking to marry a black woman, short by about several million in fact, and this is causing a host of problems. In his book, The Racial Hierarchy, evolutionary psychologist C. Paul Grandison explains that when you have a sex ratio imbalance like the one that black America has, specifically one that favors the men, the result is that the men become aggressively and deceptively hyper-competitive for short-term sexual relationships.
Okay. There is going to be explicit video, explicit content, because she's going to show music videos, right? Okay. I speak up for black women because I honestly do genuinely love black women. Okay. I've defended Sha'Carri Richardson when I felt like she was being unnecessarily drugged for no reason. I've defended I've defended black women that I know personally. Okay. I have no bias as far as who I attack. If I go after somebody, it's because they're being anti-black. Okay. When I refer to them, so you guys know, I'm not referring to all black women or even majority. I am referring to these specific divesters right here. And I'm technically really specifying her specifically. Okay. Now she is saying there are more eligible black women who are marriageable than black men. Who makes that determination? Let's be real. Because black men and black women are not looking for the same thing marriage-wise. And it's come to a point where we really need to start recognizing this. Black men and black women, first off, males and females do not look for the same thing. A male looking for a female is not looking for the things that he contributes. He's looking for things he doesn't contribute. And she is looking for things she doesn't contribute, okay? So who is to say, oh, there are more marriageable black women? Who's to say that? What makes you all marriageable? And when I say you all, I mean the divestors. Who's to say you all are marriageable? Just because you got a bachelor's degree does not make you marriageable at all. And based off of the vitriol and the condescending attitude that you all have, you clearly are not marriageable. Based off of the way she's referring to people, she's not marriageable. But let's continue.
Women looking for a committed partner, and they become much more sexually active earlier in the relationship in an effort to...
I'm sorry again. She also mentioned something about a sex ratio. There are more women in the world than men. Okay, that's just what it is. There's more women in the world than men. But she's projecting this sex ratio onto the black community as if a sex ratio is exclusive to the black community. It's just how the world is, actually. But okay.
Try to lock down a partner. Additionally, a woman may see a man who's already in a committed relationship and try to take that man for herself out of desperation. Grandison also goes on to say that these men who are spoiled with more options than they should have take a longer time to commit to their partners, express more dissatisfaction with their partners, are more likely to cheat on their partners, and more likely to abandon their partners. He says that he believes that there would be fewer divorces and fewer illegitimate children if the sex ratio imbalance wasn't so great because, well, the men would be more loyal. And in part because of that.
Now, I don't know about this book. I don't know about what she's saying or whatnot. But I'm going to say this, though. When she said there would be fewer divorces if the sex ratio was like even, if there was like a 1-to-1 between black men and black women. But the thing is that most women are the ones who file for divorce. 80% of the divorces are filed by females. Okay, just in general, most divorces are filed by women, and in the black community too. So let's not say, oh, well, if the men had less options, there would be less divorces. No. And the leading cause for divorce is financial issues, is the fact that the females feel like, okay, you don't got the money that I need to stay here. So they file for divorce. Most divorce, and Jason Black, on his channel, The Business, talks about this in great detail. That's just the case. So let's not project and see, this is the thing where you tell half truths when you talk about the divorce rates, but you're not talking about why people are getting divorced or who is filing the divorce. Because most divorces are not filed because the men leave, or the men have, or infidelity or adultery or whatever. Most divorces are filed for financial issues, actually. And they are filed by the women. But she's not going to say that, because she's going to make it seem as if all women, all black women, are these completely innocent victims who do nothing but cook and clean and carry the babies, and they just can't find, and these devilish black men just go around looking for snow bunnies to cheat on them with, and when they find one to lock down, they'll leave their black wife. That projection that's been going on for the longest time. Okay. Thank you. It's financial. That's exactly. It's usually the money. She's projecting and making it seem like this is an issue that black men just fall out of love with their wife and be like, okay, well, now we want to leave. We just want to leave you for no reason. She's going to keep making it seem, in this specific video, she's going to keep making it seem like black women, you just get married and then just get abandoned. You just get abandoned. You get abandoned. No. A lot of them, not, of course, I'm not talking about all, but a lot of them who get divorced file for divorce because of financial issues. The studies and statistics bear that out. Like I was saying, that's the difference between me and the divesters right there. I will bring up the studies and the statistics. She's loosely referring to some book, which I have researched this professor. His research is kind of based off of theories, not solid statistics and conclusions, theories that he has had. His book is very theoretical. Okay, and she's loosely referring to it, making vague points from it, not verifying anything that she's saying. But she's using this to promote an agenda. She's trying to promote an anti-black male agenda. Okay, let's continue.
That imbalance, we now have a culture that permits, maybe even encourages black men to use their status as marriageable, i.e. a black man with a job who isn't in jail, as leverage for as many sexual partners as he can get. And if you try to quote-unquote compete for these men, you'll likely find yourself locked into extended periods of situationships, entanglements, and sneaky links as friends with benefits, or worse, permanent placeholder girlfriends, commonly known as wifeys. In other words, very little return on your investment. And yet, you are being pitched black love by black media and the conscious community like it's the answer to all of your problems. Like it's the answer to all of the community's problems. All black men and women need to do is come together and restore the black nuclear family. Stop this fighting on the internet and problem solved. We're unstoppable. But instead of addressing what experts have identified as the core issues destroying black families, like male unemployment and underemployment, and the high crime rates amongst black males that lead to the sex ratio.
Okay, black male unemployment and underemployment though. Let's be real. Since she brings that up, whose fault is that? That's not because black men are lazy. That's not, and I'm not saying it's black women's fault, but that's not because of black men being lazy. That's because we live in a system of white supremacy. That's why, which is why we fight so hard for reparations, because with reparations, we can start our black economy. We can start building more black businesses and black corporations, and we won't have to rely on the dominant society for employment. Okay. So that's a good point you bring up. The black unemployment is, causes a lot of problems. The socioeconomics are causing a lot of problems in the black community, but let's not blame that on, just black men. They just don't want to work hard. That's that white supremacy thing. Oh, well, you just guys got to pull yourselves up by your bootstraps. We were just talking about Dr. King in my last program. That's something Dr. King strictly spoke against, the term pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. When you're directly targeting and impoverishing a specific group of people, robbing that group of people, depriving that group of people from resources and opportunities, and you tell them that they're lazy and that they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. The high crime ratio, that is, and I've said this so many times, there is a direct correlation between violent crime and the socioeconomics. There is a direct correlation. When we get the reparations, when we get the socioeconomic condition in the black community the way it is supposed to be, all of those other side issues will fix itself. But yet she's trying to push that as this is just a black man who just doesn't know how to control himself. But let's continue.
ratio imbalance, the community has decided that you are the actual problem. You say that you can't find a good black man. They say that you're overlooking them for the thugs and players. You say that you're not attracted to thugs and you've never dated one. They say that good black men find you to be too masculine. You say you've never had a problem attracting men, just getting commitment and monogamy out of them. They'll say you didn't earn it or that high value men have.
I want you to pay attention to something she says. Now, when we say, okay, you're looking for the thugs and the players and all that stuff, and you say, oh no, I'm not attracted to them, we're supposed to take that as your word. When you say you're not attracted to something, we take that. We can't project what you claim to be attracted to. We can't say this is what you claim to be attracted to, and then that's what you claim, and that's what you're attracted to. But she will do this later on in this video. She will do this against black men. She will project and claim what we are attracted to, despite the fact that that's not what we're saying we're attracted to. We can't do that to them, but she will do it to us. We can't generalize them, but she will generalize us. I want you to take note and watch when she says that later on in the video.
The right to exercise their options. You'll explain that they aren't that high value because you're going more than 50-50 on everything. They'll say that your standards are unrealistic. You say that you commonly date men who don't meet your standards. They'll say that you need to choose better. You'll say there isn't better to choose from. And here we go back and forth in an endless circle jerk with no one acknowledging the real issues. And why won't they do it? Why won't they simply say that the men aren't playing their part in the institution of black love as protectors and providers, and they're the ones who need to alter their behavior? Well, because admission of failure on their part would be giving you permission to leave them. And a society, however dysfunctional, can survive with very few men, but a society without enough women will crumble. So, as a community, we've decided that come hell or high water,
Now, that's kind of like, and here's the deceptive part about it. She's saying things and she's being very deceptive about it. She's saying a society can't operate with few men, and a society who has few women cannot operate. Well, yeah, in terms of like childbearing birth rate, okay, that's what it in terms of that. In terms of, because men can't have children. Men and some people, what do you mean a man can't have a kid? Men cannot give birth. Men cannot give birth. Men cannot give birth. I don't care who gets offended by that scientific fact, but a male cannot give birth. That is just the truth. Okay. And females give birth. All right. So if you have a society with very few females, you have very few births. If you have a society with very few males and a lot of females, you can have a lot of births. So, I mean, to that extent it's true. But what she's saying, she's projecting as if the society will go into chaos if there are not women to like maintain it. That's okay. That part, the part that she's trying to imply is not the truth. That men will just start barbarically killing and eating each other if there's not enough women around. But like, no, it's more on a scientific birth rate thing, which is important. I'm not trying to undermine the woman's position at all. Okay. I feel like there is a balance to things, and that women are a very important part of the balance of the human race. Okay. I don't think that men are inherently better or superior to women or vice versa. I'm saying that there are differences between males and females. There always have been, and there always will be. And that's okay. And that's a good thing. Okay. Now, let's continue.
We are going to keep these black women on the hook, waiting and praying and competing for that good black man who will come into their lives and build a family, despite all evidence that this will happen for very few of you. Don't get me wrong, there are some very good black men out there. Hell, there are some even great men out there who are black, and there are some dusty black women, but numbers don't lie. Here's the math. You already outnumber black men, and for a bunch of reasons, more than half of them will never marry anyone. Of those that remain, almost a quarter of them will marry women who are not black. Of the men left, 73% cannot financially support a household alone, and you will have to work. And due to the high rates of infidelity, domestic violence, and financial instability, 42% of these marriages will ultimately fail. Less than a quarter of you who get married will be in marriages where your husband earns more money than you. Less than 8% of those of you who get married to black men will have the luxury of not having to work at all. In fact, most high-earning black men...
That was her attempting to use some type of data and statistics, okay? That was her attempting to use that. So let's, since she wants to talk about statistics, marriage, like I said, all of this can be directly tied to our social economic position. Poor people have a tendency not to get married because of financial issues, or to stay married because of financial issues. Okay. It wasn't actually that long ago when black people were getting married damn near at 100%. That wasn't too long ago. But something happened. What happened? Our socioeconomics happened. We stopped operating as a group, as a unit, and that's what happened. It's not because black men just don't want to marry black women. Another thing too, she said a quarter of us are going to marry, about a quarter of us are going to marry non-black. So let's look at that. So I brought up some statistics. Okay. So let's look, because I'll do this. I'll actually show the sources. I'm not just going to project some type of animation there and say that that's the source. So let's go from the top, because I was reading a little bit about this. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of reading tonight too, family. Okay. Right here, black marriage in America. Over the last few decades, now I'm going to skip past a lot of this stuff. I just want to prove a few points. Over the last few decades of marriage has been declining, has been a declining institution among all Americans. And in this decline, even more evident in the black community. In 2019, only 30% of African Americans were married compared to 48% of Americans. They're referring to everybody else. Over half or 50%, half or 50%, half is 50%. Okay, half or 50% of African Americans have never been married compared to 34% of all Americans. Now, so black marriage in general is going down. Now I'm going to go down here to read, let me see. This, I'm trying to find a specific point where they talk about, okay, interracial marriage statistics, okay? It is believed that a large percentage of black men marry white women. This is often cited as one of the causes for low marriage rates among black women. This, however, is only partially true, okay? While black men marry white women at twice the rate that black women marry white men, in 2017, only 15% of black men were married to non-black women, which is up from 11% in 2010. About 3/5 of those non-black women were white. Okay. So out of 15, because she said a quarter is 25. So she just added 10 more percent. She added about 10 more percent, and then a quarter, and then 3/5 of the 15 are white. Okay. Let me read the rest of this so nobody can say something, and then I will show you the actual data and statistics. Okay, like the charts and stuff. So there is evidence of an increase in black men marrying out, which I already said in the beginning of the broadcast, I do not approve of. I don't. Okay. There's already evidence of black men marrying out. Where was I? Of their racial demographic. As a matter of fact, Pew Research Center released a report finding that 25% of black male newlyweds in 2013 married non-black women compared to 12% of black women who married out. Okay. Now, this is 25, and then this is 15. So clearly the rate it's a difference in rate right here. They're not staying married, which is why I'm saying that black love, because when you marry somebody outside your rate, there is a big cultural difference and a societal difference right here. Okay. Now they go into Asians. However, Asian women and Native Americans still have the highest rate of interracial marriage. Black women are the least likely to marry non-black men at only 7% in 2017, and only 4 of them were white. Okay. Now, this is the chart. 85% of black men have non-black women, have black wives who are married. This is a chart from 2017. Okay. Let me see if I can make this a tad bit larger. All right. And then they have the chart. 9% are married to white. I guess this is white, non-Hispanic. 3% Hispanic. 3% other. I would assume that other is pretty much Asian or Pacific Islander. And then black women who are married, 93% have a black husband. Now note, it is right here that there are 479,617 more married black men than black women. So when you say black women are least likely to marry white men, black women are least likely to marry. And this isn't to say anything. This isn't to discourage black women from being married, but this is to say you have to take that into a factor when you are looking at the statistics. It's not like for every married black man, it's a black woman, and then you can see who they're marrying. That's not the truth. That's not the case. Okay? If you have a larger percent of black men marrying, there are going to be a larger percent of them marrying out than there would be black women marrying out. I'm not saying that that's an okay thing. I'm saying you have to factor that in when you look at the data, and that's not something that she's saying. Okay? So let's go back. This is also false too. Let me take it back a little bit.
Those of you who get married to black men will have the luxury of not having to work at all. In fact, most high-earning
The graph is very deceptive as well. Look at this. She's talking about hypergamy, where the man brings the bag. I guess is supposed the bag of money. The man brings home the bag, and she's using this statistic. In most marriages, even in the black marriages where the socioeconomics is messed up, in most marriages, the husband is the breadwinner in the marriage. In most marriages, in most of the cases, the husband is the one paying most of the finances in those marriages, even in the black marriages too. So rarely ever do you see a married couple be exactly 50-50 the entire marriage. That's not really the case. Yet she's making it seem like if he can't afford everything and pay the bills all by himself, he's going 50-50 with his wife. That's that deceptive, using imagery to be deceptive. That's not the case. That's not the case. If unfortunately he doesn't have it to where he can afford to finance the entire family and he needs his wife to pitch in, it's not she's pitching in 50-50 in most of the cases. But let's continue.
Instability, 42% of these marriages will ultimately fail. Less than a quarter of you who get married will be in marriages where your husband earns more money than you. Less than 8% of those of you who get married to black men will have the luxury of not having to work at all. In fact, most high-earning black men remain bachelors or marry out of their race. So for all of you...
That's a lie. That is a lie. And I hate the fact that they keep using the same celebrities. Oh, well, most black men, when they get rich, they want to marry a white girl. No, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. Most educated, well-earning black men do actually marry black women. And they nitpick the black celebrities who are married or are dating white girls. They're not talking about black men who have careers and who have had a marriage with a black woman for years without any controversy, without any drama. Okay? I mean, just a few off the top of my head I can name. LeBron James. I mean, she showed a picture. LeBron James is one. You know, Ice Cube is another one. You know, there's Denzel Washington. He's one as well. I mean, I can name a few others, but I'm trying to name the ones without like a controversy or something like that. Otherwise, I'd say Will Smith and Jay-Z. But you know, they got crazy stuff going on in their marriages, so especially Will Smith and Jada. But let's continue.
You ladies with hypergamous rich black girl fantasies, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not likely going to happen, particularly for the more richly melanated sisters and the sisters with the West African body types and the sisters with previous children. Your odds are much worse. But hey.
Okay. Here's another thing when she's saying, okay, the richly melanated sisters. So she's trying to, imply that black men are colorist. Black men are colorist, and they don't want to marry a dark-skinned woman. And I did look up there's a lot of theories that, okay, well, light-skinned women, they have a tendency to get married more often. I looked that up. There's no like solid evidence to back that up. I'm not saying that is not true. I'm not saying it is true, but she's projecting it as if, oh, if you're dark skinned, good luck getting married. I know plenty of beautiful dark skinned women who are married and in happy, long lasting relationships. I just mentioned a few celebrities who are married to dark skinned women, and that's just off of the top of my head. Okay, but she's telling this now. I want you to imagine a young, impressionable, dark-skinned sister listening to this thinking, oh man, these black men hate me because of the influence that she has. Then she's talking about the West African body type. The West African body type, are you referring to? And then she showed a plus size female. Are you referring to fat women? Don't claim that. Don't try to remix the wording and say that's the West African body type. That's not the West African body type. If anything, women who are overweight in general, this is just in general, have a harder time getting married. And I looked that up before I came here. Okay, just to verify that, because I heard about that before. Okay, most men, this goes for men of all races, do not want a woman who is out of shape. So to say, oh, he just don't like the West African body. No. If you're implying that West African women are plus size and fat, I hope you're not implying that. But if you're replying to the women who are naturally more thick, the thicker women and everything, who have a harder time, getting married? Like, why would she, this stuff, if a little, young, impressionable black woman was to hear this, she could be led in the wrong direction. Exactly. Like, what is the West African body type? What is that? What does that mean? Does she, what, you don't even know what that means. Oh, they don't like that's her saying that black men want women that look, black women, they gotta look like white girls. Okay? And that's really bad, because that can hurt the self-esteem of a lot of young black girls and lead them into very dangerous things, which I don't want to see. Okay.
If you believe that you're going to be in that small minority, the 13% of black women overall who are in hypergamous black marriages, and the even smaller percent who have the luxury of being able to stay at home and raise their children, and you want to bet your future on that belief, go right ahead. I can't stop you, but understand that you are the one that's taking on all of the risk, because if you choose wrong and it doesn't work out and you are left with a couple of kids on your arm, you will be the ire of the community, the single mom, aka the woman who didn't choose better, aka the poster girl for everything that's wrong with the black community, and you would have decreased your chances of finding another suitable life partner by half. Ask yourself, why?
Okay, another thing too. Let's be real. For the longest time, we've been giving the single black mom too much credit, and I don't care who gets upset with that. We've been giving the single black mom too much credit. We've been getting told that the single black woman is the backbone of the black community, and she out here being the mom and the dad, and she don't need a daddy, and she can do it all by herself. That's what we've been told for the longest time. Only now have we started been saying, hey, the single black mom is out here messing up their kids. The single black mom is out here feeding this hatred into their children. And of course I'm not talking about all, but only recently have we been starting to put any accountability on the single black mom. Only recently. For the longest time, we've been praising the single black mom like she holding it down, she doing it all by herself, when most of the divorces and the breakups as well are initiated by the women. Okay. Now, another thing too she'll talk about how the men who grew up and have this vitriol, are raised by single black mothers, raised without that masculine influence, raised without their black fathers. And that's why they get so messed up. That's why they're so screwed up and have so many emotional and psychological issues, because they were raised by their single black mothers. And a woman cannot raise a male by herself. That is just not what, because a woman is not a male. A woman does not see the world the way the male sees the world. Just like you would never hear a woman say, I learned how to be, my example of a woman was my dad. You would never hear a woman say that, because a male can't, her father can't be her example of femininity. It shouldn't be, but he really can't be. Her father can't be the motherly example in her life. Just like her, a son's mother cannot be the fatherly example in his life. That's what I was talking about when it comes to balance, when it comes to the man and the woman raising the kids. That's the balance. That's what needs to happen. But she's out here, she's not going to mention the fact that a lot of these single mothers do this, initiate the breakup, initiate the fact that the male and the father and the mother are not together, make it seem like she's just the one who's been abandoned, when most of the divorces are filed by women. Most of the breakups are actually initiated by women. She's the one who's done that. And then, if she's the one who initiates that stuff, and then they mess up the children, okay? And this isn't to say that if you're a single black mother, your children are doomed. That's not to say this. This isn't to say all single black mothers have done this. This isn't to say that all single black mothers are bad women or are bad mothers. This isn't to say that at all, okay? But we have to understand, channels like this do not have the best interest of black women at heart. They really don't. They put a bunch of lies, projections, and mistruths in their videos. They tell half-truths and mistruths, and they reword statistics and tell lies. And that can manipulate and influence young black women into the wrong path. And she doesn't care that it does that to them. She doesn't care that, unfortunately, her videos right here that have hundreds of thousands of views are actually harming the self-esteem of a lot of young black women and are actually leading them into a bad path. Like I mentioned the video with Lauren Field Smith. None of the divesters at all had anything to say about her or any of the other black women that I mentioned who got killed, unfortunately, because they were dating their white zaddy. None of them had anything to say. So in truth, they don't care about black women. Watch how she twists all this stuff up at the end of the video, but they don't care about black women. She's not saying this because she actually wants to see black women do better. She's not saying this at all. She's saying this to project an anti-black male propaganda, to project a standard, a hateful standard, so that way when she's doing her slave play with her white master, she looks less Sambo-ish, less like a bed wench, because she's demonized the black male. Okay?
Why would you make such an important life decision knowing that the odds are stacked so tall against you? Well, this pipe dream has been pushed on you since birth. Black love is almost exclusively sold to black women. Not only is it the thing that you're supposed to want.
Says who, though? She said black love is almost exclusively sold to black women. Where? Like, what is she talking about? Says who?
More than anything else in the world, it's your duty to pursue it. A black woman who marries outside of her race is a bedwench, and the hostility towards her comes from both black men and other black women. Why from black men? Well, frankly, they don't like the sexual competition, and they never thought you could go anywhere else. Part of black men's power in this relationship dynamic.
I'm gonna keep it real. As a black man, there really ain't no sexual competition. Let me tell you how there's no sexual competition, because all of these other ethnic groups of males copy us. We are the most copied group of males. All of these other males copy the way we talk, copy the way we move, copy the way we dress, copy everything about us. They're trying to be like black men. So there's no sexual competition. We're not, very few weird weirdos out there trying to be like other people, trying to be like white. You don't see a whole bunch of black men trying to be like them. You see them trying to be like us. We are the standard. Black men are the standard of manhood. There's no sexual competition. We're not afraid of the competition. There is no competition. You can't compete with the best. But let's continue.
Is the belief that there's nowhere else for you to go. And for all of that talk about how you're going to start dating other men, your feet haven't moved an inch.
The ISIS papers, that's very good. You brought that up, the ISIS papers. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she talks about this too. The insecurity that the dominant society and the rest of the world has against the dominant male, the black men. She brings this up in her book very well. She talks about this often. So you guys should definitely, if you guys haven't read that book, you guys should definitely look into the ISIS papers. That's a good one. Harlan Brown. Shout out to you, sister. But let's continue.
So they've been calling your bluff. But when they see you, the educated, middle and upper class black women, their only real hope to restore this community, when they see you considering going elsewhere, that's when their feathers get a little ruffled. And other black women don't.
She said the upper class and educated black women are the only real hope to restore the community. But she doesn't explain how that's going to happen. And when she's talking about educated, you're talking about a college degree. And this is my thing when it comes to college degrees. A lot of you all get your college, and I'm not just talking about black women. I'm talking about just black people in general. Y'all get your college degree and y'all feel like that makes you better than anybody else. It really doesn't. You get your college degree so you can go work for a white corporation and make them more money, because you will never, with a college degree alone, make more money than they will make off of you. Okay? Y'all college degrees aren't really doing anything. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you that. You talk about, oh, we're the only real hope of restoring the community. What? Really? Because for the last 50 years or so, y'all been running everything. Y'all been the one who's made the most decisions and had the houses and been calling the shots. The black community has run as a matriarchy, has been running as a matriarchy for the last few generations. Okay? And this isn't to say this, and of course this isn't to say all black women, but y'all not doing anything with the college degrees. In general, just in general, let's say black men and black women getting a whole bunch of college degrees. College degrees aren't saving the community. We're not going to do any. How many of y'all turn those college degrees into businesses? Then you can talk. If you turn your college degrees into businesses, which a lot of you are not, a lot of you are getting your college degrees and you're applying for some type of white corporation to work in the damn office. That's what you guys are doing with your college degrees. You're not doing nothing else. Okay, and this isn't saying anything negative about you guys who are getting your education and getting your degrees. Shout out to you. But I'm saying, don't act like your college degree makes you better than anybody else.
Want to hear that you're looking at other races of men either, even though it's less marital competition for them, because misery loves company. Who's going to be there to share in the collective trauma bonding on the topic of unfaithful men, download dusties, abusers, and hypergamous dudes who believe that they're the prize? They don't want to be alone caping for a lost cause, and if they're going to throw their legacy and their future away for a fantasy, they need to know that other women are doing the same, otherwise the sacrifice will not have been worth it. It's funny though, black men don't seem to have this visceral reaction to the idea of other black men in interracial relationships. Their socialization is much different from yours. Don't get it twisted. It's a hustle. Getting you to believe in black love ensures their survival while they...
She refers to Umar Johnson very selectively. Okay. Now, when she says, oh, black men don't have a problem when other black men date white women, but Umar Johnson is probably, that's the most thing he's well known for. That is probably his biggest thing to fame. That's what people know him best as, the person who does not approve in any shape or form of interracial relationships. That's probably his biggest thing. The thing that people know him for the most. Okay, she refers to him when she wants to demonize black men for being when she wants to talk about black men chasing white women. But she doesn't refer to him when she says black men don't approve of other black men. dating white women or outside of their race. I'm gonna keep it real with you, because they keep making it seem like black men just get away scot-free with non-black wives. Where I grew up, maybe this is just a foundational black American thing, maybe this is not a thing where y'all from, but black men have constantly been called sellouts, coons and sambos and things like that when they show up with a non-black woman. They've constantly getting the side eye looked at them. Okay, to an extent, the black community is welcoming, but the black community does look at it like, you got a white girl? Like, yeah, we look at it like, okay, that's that dude over there. We're gonna kind of keep an eye on them. We've always looked at that as being an off code thing to do. Okay, now to an extent, black people are welcoming, a little bit too welcoming, if we're going to be honest. Actually, a lot of bit too welcoming, if we're going to be honest. But it's been accepted, unfortunately. But it's not like it's been a thing that we've been, oh, you got a white girl? High five. Let me pat you on the back. That's not how we've been doing.
They can go.
Hold on. Stacy says you have a drop shipping business. I do. Okay. I would like to hear about your business, Stacy. I didn't know that. Okay.
Out and be with whomever they want to be with. In fact, most of the time, they seem to believe that they don't need you to create black children. Their seed is so strong that they can make a black family all by themselves. Now, if this is a black child, then two can play that game. Now, let me be clear. Only a black woman can create this and this and this. But if black men are determined to eugenicize themselves via colorism and externalized self-hatred, there is no reason for you to put your legacy on the line trying to stop them. They've already dubbed biracial black women as your suitable replacement, and you're not going to be able to stop the incoming buffer race of mixed children that black men are currently creating from enjoying light-skinned privilege that unambiguously black children will not take part in. So why try? For those
My mic is off. My fault. Does what she said make sense? Maybe I didn't get it. I don't think I got it. I didn't get it. Okay. Thank y'all for letting me know that my mic is muted. I don't know if what she said makes sense. I don't know. So let me play it back in normal speed so you guys can hear it.
you're not going to be able to stop the incoming themselves via colorism and externalized self-hatred, there is no reason for you to put your legacy on the line trying to stop them. They've already dubbed biracial black women as your suitable replacement, and you're not going to be able to stop the incoming buffer race of mixed children that black men are currently creating from enjoying light-skinned privilege that unambiguously black children will not take part in. So why try? For those of you who want
Do y'all know what that means? Because I don't. That didn't make any sense. That didn't make any sense to me. Okay? Unfortunately, a lot of black people, not just black men, have self-hatred. A lot of black women have self-hatred too. And videos like this will actually increase the amount of self-hatred. They're making it seem like a black woman is unlovable to a black man, which is the furthest thing from the truth. Okay? She's talking about we've accepted that the mixed woman is their buffer class. What? Like, where is she getting this from? This is baseless information that she's spewing. Like, this is some type of... you can clearly tell she has some type of anti-black hate. This is personal. This is personal right here. Well, she said, let me play it one more time. Maybe it's me. Maybe I think I am the problem. I will accept the fact that I, a black man, is the problem here. So let me play this one more time and let this beautiful, well-spoken, whatever the fuck, this eloquent, educated, with her bachelor degree, black bedwench tell you.
They've already dubbed biracial black women as your suitable replacement, and you're not going to be able to stop the incoming buffer race of mixed children that black men are currently creating from enjoying light-skinned privilege that unambiguously black children will not take part in. So why try? For those
that don't make no damn sense what she said. She was just saying words. That's just, first off, the generalization. Oh my goodness. When she says black men, I'm thinking she's looking at every single black man, like probably the bums she's dated, because only bums would date her. The bums she has dated, and she's trying to generalize black men. What is that coming from? The light-skinned buffer class. What? Now there's a light skin. Now that's kind of like a sign that you're not from here, because light skin buffer classes don't really exist in our culture. That exists in other cultures. So maybe you're from the Caribbean or somewhere over there where there is a light skin buffer class. Because over here in the American descendants of slaves, the foundational black Americans, we don't have a light skin buffer class like that. That's never really how we've operated. Even back during slavery, when they would say, okay, we would have the light skins in the house, the mulattoes really in the house, and then we'll have the mulattoes, meaning half white and half black, in the house, and then we'll have the dark skin niggas out there. They'll be the field niggas, and they'll pick the cotton and all that stuff. They still understood, and of course there were, first off, there were sellouts in the house and outside the house too. It wasn't just the fact that, oh, if you're a light skin, you were in the house snitching on everybody, and the field niggas was out there being revolutionaries. There was both. You had some field niggas who were snitching. You had some house niggas who were snitching. Okay, but even if you look at the civil rights movement, there wasn't this light skin buffer class nonsense. There was black people like, hey, I'm black, you're black, and we get it. Okay. We weren't trying to separate ourselves by this light skin, dark skin stuff. Okay? That stuff is in y'all's society. That stuff is not in our society. You did not hear from back during the civil rights era where you had light skinned speakers and dark skinned speakers. They weren't saying, okay, well, as the dark skinned people, we are special. No, we were not making that separation. That is not a part of our culture to make the light skin, dark skin separation. And in fact, and this is probably something that I theorized, but based off of what I have researched, that light skin, dark skin beef stuff, that didn't even really take place during the slavery, during the times of the house niggas being in the field, because even they realized, yeah, we're still treated like dirt. We're still slaves to them. Okay. So all of that light skin, dark skin beef, that started when them tethers started coming over here. If we're gonna be honest, because they have that light skin, dark skin stuff heavy in their countries. Come on, let's be real with it. Let's tell the truth. They have the light skin. The fact that she said that lets me know, okay, you probably from the Caribbean somewhere, because that whole light skin buffer class thing, we don't do that here. We don't have a separate society for the lighter skinned people. We don't do that. If you're black, period. All that light skin, dark skin beef where, okay, well, you're light skinned, so you're better. You have this hair, you have this insecurity. When we were during the civil rights movement, we were talking about black is beautiful and we love black and all that stuff. Y'all came over here talking about, oh, the light skinned people have good hair. The light skinned people have pretty eyes. The light skinned people are better. That was y'all who embedded that black self-hate into the community. That was y'all who did that. That was not a part of what we were doing. Yeah, exactly. All that skin bleaching and stuff. We was never doing that skin bleaching. We had the worst slavery in the history of the planet Earth, and we have never done any skin bleaching. And in fact, we were doing the opposite. And in fact, you saw a lot of fair-skinned, what they would call the lighter-skinned black people, tanning and actually getting darker. We didn't view dark skin as a nasty thing or a bad thing, and we wanted to bleach our skin and all that. We weren't doing that. Y'all got skin bleaching billboards up like it's a damn toothpaste thing. Like it's just a normal toiletry. That's how y'all got y'all skin bleaching advertised. That's y'all who came over here with that colorism projection. So don't come here and say, oh, well, see, the black men, they got that colorism. Maybe in Haiti, maybe in Jamaica or wherever you're from, maybe that's how they get down there. But as far as foundational black Americans who are descended from chattel slavery, that's not how we get down. Okay. But let's continue.
Those of you who want to have children of your own, your first priority needs to be to give them a father who can protect them and provide for them. And so many black women ignore this basic requirement. So many black women watch their children walk to school in unsafe neighborhoods and go to underserved public schools and spend their young adulthood running the gauntlet trying to escape poverty. And for what?
Why are black people in poverty? Let's answer that question. What is the reason why these black children are in poverty? Why are you not addressing that fact? You're acting like what you're saying is beneficial to the black community without you addressing the fact that there is a reason why the black community is in such poverty. There is a reason why black kids have to grow up with the horrific conditions that no children should have to grow up in. There is a specific reason, because specific people are doing things, okay, to oppress and undermine and subjugate black people. Why are you not addressing that? You're not addressing that because you're going to make your white zaddy, your white master, look like the bad guy.
For black love, for a BBC, is that what you're going to tell your kids their future was worth? Black men are not sacrificing bachelorhood or snow bunnies so that you can feel protected. They have community.
Here's another thing I don't like. I don't like the fact that they keep using like rappers and music videos and stuff like that to project the fact, oh, look, black men, you see all these non-black women in their music videos and you see all that stuff. Do you guys honestly understand the few black men who do have that stuff in their music videos? They're not they shouldn't be the ones you're interested in anyway. You can't say that, who is this, Jason Derulo or however it's pronounced. You can't say that he is a representative of black. I don't even know if he's a foundational black American, but if he is, he's not a representative of us. He's not our representative. And two, a lot of these black people in general don't have control over their music. If you actually understood the music industry, we really don't have too much of any control over our music at all. So if we don't have control over the music, you honestly think that the artists have control over the music video? No, the studio owns that, just like they own the artist, they own the music, and they want whatever is in their music video. They want that in their music video. So if they say we're going to get Becky and all of them over there, we're going to get all of these non-black women in the music video, that's what happens. You're making it seem like it's based off of the black man. Oh, this is what the black men want to see. No, this is what the record studio puts out. And they put that out for a very specific reason. Okay. Derulo. Oh, Derulo. Okay. I knew it was something like that. Okay. Nikki and Ray J got slick tongues. Okay. Let me look at the comments. Yeah. Oh, I felt like, yeah, he is Haitian. So that's the thing. We need to make a cultural separation. What's gonna stop happening is we're gonna stop having these tethers come over here, and they get to do all their filth, And then we point and say, look at how black men act. And when you say black men by default, because as foundationals, we are the standard of blackness. So when you say black men, they're going to say, okay, well, that kind of heavily implies the descendant of American slaves. That heavily implies us, the DOS. That heavily implies us. So we're going to make a separation. Since you want to bring up Jason Derulo, why don't you bring up the fact that he's from Haiti? Why don't you state exactly where these people are from that you're bringing up? Because you're not going to put all of us in one bucket. You're not going to do that. Let me see. We're going to continue.
Phalluses, and they don't feel a duty to exclusively see you. They don't hold you as a preference among the women that they date. They don't feel like they owe you anything.
She said we as black men, we don't hold them as a preference for the women that we date. I just showed you that most black men, almost all, because 85% is almost all black men date black women or marry black women. And if they marry black women like that, that means that they date them at higher rates. Okay. So what are you talking about? Oh, they're not their preference. Stop that lying.
No manner of shaming them and telling them that they don't like women who look like their mama is going to get them to change course. They don't see you like they see their mama, and if they did, it wouldn't help. Black men's war against the single mother is evidence of a resentment toward the very women who birthed them and raised them alone. They're now
So now we're looking at the fact that it is, a lot of these black men who are raised by their single mothers have damaged these black men. And these black men are not operating in the best interest of the black community because of that. Okay? So let's point the finger at where the finger deserves to be pointed at. Okay? I'm not taking away from their Sambo-ish behavior. I'm definitely not. And I will make a video addressing the opposite side, like the fresh and fit coons and all that stuff. I'm only making this video because of the comment that was made to me. It was another comment too. Made about the divesters. So that's why I'm making this video. But let's be real. Because she's out here making it seem like black women are the one who are completely perfect and are not, who is that? I don't know who these people are. These are just the people from her clip. I have no idea who this woman and this dude is. I don't know. But she's making it seem like black women, we just out here doing our thing. We just trying to hold it down for the community, and black men, they are just all wrong and we can do nothing wrong. But you just said that a lot of the reason why these black men are the very few, because most black men do not hate black women. That's a lie. Most black men do not have a preference for non-black women. That's a lie too. In all races, dating out the race is not the preference. Okay? Dating out is not the preference among any race of men. Okay? So for you to say the few black men who have this bitter, simpish hatred for black women are due to the fact that their mothers messed them up, then let's address the fact that a single black woman is not the one who should be raising the black man. It should be his black father. Let's say, in worst case scenario, the father winds up passing away. He needs to be raised by a black man. He needs to be raised by a black man. Only a black man can teach another black man the steps of black manhood. A black woman cannot do that because she was not raised in that step. She was not guided that way. And that's not to say anything against the black woman, but you are a woman. I can't tell a woman how to deal with a period better than a woman could, or how to deal with childbirth better than a woman could. No one would even come to me for that, because that's something I would never experience. You know what I'm saying? Like it's common sense.
looking towards other women that they see as more valuable who aren't so frequently abandoned.
Never let anyone.
I hate to pause it so often, but she says aren't so frequently abandoned. Didn't we just establish the fact that most of the divorces are filed by the women? And this isn't to say just black women, but just women in general. Women are the ones jumping ship out of relationships. Women are the ones ditching relationships. If we're going to be honest with it, it's the women on the one who's saying, I'm on a bounce. That's the women saying that. And now she's talking about, oh, well, the black woman is just holding it down and she's getting abandoned. See, this is the lie that the divester is trying to project towards the young, impressionable black woman. And that lie is going to be very harmful.
Coming between me and you, I never let anyone come in between you and me.
But trust me, you are not losing out on anything. Black men have absolutely no history of protecting women. Not on the coast of West Africa 400 years ago, not on the Underground Railroad 200 years ago, not during Jim Crow 100 years ago, and not during the crack boom 50 years ago. They have not ever adequately provided for their families either. And at a time where men of other communities are building and expanding and going to the freaking moon, black men are in chat rooms complaining about how you won't submit to them, while other men are trying to attain masculinity through achievement, wanting to compete with other men and conquer other men. Black men just want to conquer you. They're obsessed with your submission, possibly because it helps them forget that there are other men who are subjugating them. They blame their ineptitude on feminism, welfare, and white supremacy, and conclude that the solution to this is to chase down women of other races to teach you a lesson. Yet somehow they still achieve similar or worse results with these same women. All those reasons are garbage. The truth is there's a
Ooh, okay, so that was a lot of lies. Let me break that down. I just want you to listen to the whole thing. The whole thing real quick. Okay. First off, they say she's not missing out on anything because black men have never done anything for the black woman. Black men have never protected the black woman. Black women have never been provided for, never been anything. I made a whole video. I made a whole broadcast. Okay. Where I've showed black men literally running into burning buildings to save black women. Some of these black men don't even know the woman. They just running into buildings. I've shown videos of black men scaling apartment buildings, like huge several-story apartment buildings on fire with their leg broke to save a black woman. Okay. Most black women, most of them know a black man who would crack somebody's skull open to protect them. Most of them do. So let's stop this. Oh, well, the black man has never done anything to protect the black. Like, what? And you're comparing black men to men who have a history of literally setting women on fire. Listen, these men, did you know, so in case you guys didn't know, the first legal slaves, the first property of the human property, human beings that were considered actual chattel property, slaves, like actual property of someone, was the white woman by the white male. It wasn't the black man. White men have always viewed women as property. White men have they literally have a history of, damn, if this food is too seasoned, you must be a witch. Let me burn you alive. They literally have the history of that. If we can look up the rape statistics, while she's talking about how black men don't do anything to protect black women, so you should date a white man, even though a white man has 3 times the rate of rape in his community. Never mind that fact. You are talking about men who will literally, these are cultures of men who be backhanded in their countries, who be backhanding their wives across the room if their toast is burnt. And you talking about black men. I personally have never seen a story of a stranger white male running into a burning building to save a white woman he didn't know, that if he wasn't a firefighter. I haven't seen that. Or to scale a building. I haven't seen that. There's a whole lot of things that black men, that I can bring up stories after stories after stories. Okay. Of black men doing Avengers level heroic actions to save black women. And this isn't to say that all black men are just these great beings that need to be worshipped or whatnot. This isn't to say this is not to say that black men cannot do better. Okay, this isn't to say that all black men are not flawed. But you're going to say that black men have no history at all of protecting and providing for our community, despite the fact that we are the world's biggest target, despite the fact that literally everybody in the world kind of hates us, including you divesters who try to manipulate other black women into hating us. Despite that fact, we have always, maybe not in your country, but in this country, okay, the descendants of slaves have always stuck to the foundational black American men have always tried to protect and serve their women. Okay, we've been the only defense of them. Okay, is she gonna mention all the, because she's talking about protection? Is she gonna mention Lauren Field Smith? Is she gonna mention all these other black women who've dated their white zaddies and wound up being killed? Is she going to mention that while she's talking about the protection of black women?
Eurocentric standard of beauty in this world, and your men have bought into it hook, line, and sinker.
Beauty is not subjective. That's why we have the golden ratio, the Fibonacci equation. You can look at facial symmetry and see that beautiful people, you can map their facial structure, and it goes to a mathematical calculation.
Oh yeah.
Beauty is universal. And the thing is, we're talking about black women. They are on the opposite end of the spectrum on all ranks.
Doesn't this sound strangely similar to the pseudoscientists who argue that the African skull is more similar to an ape and that black people naturally have lower IQs? But this is coming from supposedly your...
Okay, don't project Kevin Samuels onto black men as if Kevin Samuels is like, I hate when she keeps doing that. She's nitpicking black men who are saying something, and then she's saying, oh, this is coming from your men. Most black men actually call Kevin Samuels out on that. And I'm going to make a video about the Kevin Samuels and the Fresh and Fit coons and all that stuff. About that stuff. And I do agree with her on that point. That whole talking point of the beauty is based off of some type of science metric and everything, and black women are the opposite. That is like a white supremacist talking point. And I am going to address that later on. But that's going to be too much for this specific broadcast. I'm going to make a whole nother one addressing him and the whole manosphere, whatever they like to call themselves. Okay. But Kevin Samuels is not the representative of nobody. And Kevin Samuels got dragged by both black men and black women for that comment. I've seen it myself personally.
Men in 2021, after all that marching and protesting you all did for them, they won't even protect your image. This is how they see you, as practically untouchables, quick to remind you that you're not anyone's first choice.
This is how they see you? Look at the generalization here. We just established earlier in this broadcast how most black men prefer to be with black women. Most black men do not view black women the way Kevin Samuels was just talking. Most of them don't. Okay. But she's going to pick one clip from Kevin Samuels and say, see, this is how black men view you. Do you see the type of harm that this can do? Someone who has big influence, who the YouTube algorithm pushes and boosts up, has this much of an influence on impressionable black girls. Young black girls. Okay. I was scrolling through the comments, read a comment from a 19-year-old black girl talking about, thank you, I never really understood. I was kind of confused. I'm glad I found your channel. That is a bad thing. That is a bad thing. You have 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds watching this stuff who might be confused about what the truth really is. Most black men do not think like that. And she's projecting and she's generalizing.
And while casually forgetting that they're not anyone's first choice either except yours, and yet so many of them still manage to successfully find partners elsewhere. In fact, it's your overt worship of their image that raises their desirability factor amongst other women because you're the one whose taste everyone else rips off. And nothing, not black men's gaslighting or colorism denying, not the pick-me's bullying or the pro-black rallying should cause you to forget that your men are the most disloyal men on the face of the earth. And they say that that's your fault. Maybe it is. The signs have been there for a long time. These men were never going to make a real effort toward building a strong black community. It's no secret. You know what building looks like from men because you can see.
We were never going to make a strong effort in building a strong black community. Where is she from? Where is she from? I'm sure this will answer a lot of questions. And this isn't for me to drag. I'm not trying to, because a lot of people are like, why do you keep dragging black immigrants like that? Why do you keep dragging the non-foundationals? I have to address that. I have to address that because y'all won't address it. Y'all won't. Y'all see y'all people over here cooning and y'all turn a blind eye. I have to address it. If y'all would address it, I wouldn't have to, but y'all not addressing it, so I have to address it. Okay. Where is she from? The same. We've had Tulsa, Oklahoma. We've had black neighborhoods, black societies flourishing, exceeding past the dominant society at certain points in certain places. Okay. What is she talking about? The black man doesn't want to build a black community. What? Who are you around? Okay. Just because you might be around bums and dusty dudes who do anything with their life does not mean that black men are like that.
See men in other communities doing it. Building looks like sitting in the library until you get kicked out at closing time. It looks like 3 jobs and 100-hour work weeks. It looks like starting that business your senior year of college. It looks like sacrificing anything and everything for your family. It looks like what your mothers did for you, which is why Goldman Sachs saw you as the better community investment. And many of you are still unwilling to admit to yourself that your men will never do.
Yeah, Goldman Sachs trying to push that gender divide propaganda, trying to do this false elevation of black women. When you see that, I want y'all to know, this isn't me hating, this isn't me being jealous. People say, oh, you're being jealous. This isn't me being jealous of black women. This is me understanding that this is false. This is a false propaganda, okay? Black women are the poorest group of people in the planet, not poorest group of people on the planet, poorest group of people in America. That's not your fault. That's because we need our reparations. It shouldn't be like that. That's why black men and black women are fighting side by side so we can get our reparations that we deserve. Okay, but we have to be realistic. When you fake gas their heads up, like say, oh, black women, y'all just out here, y'all killing the game, y'all just doing everything, y'all doing it all. That's not the truth. You're lying and you're not being realistic about the problem. You can't fix a problem if you're going to project and make it seem like the problem is not what the problem is. The problem is that both black men and black women are in a bad situation and we need to get better. You making it seem like black women out here holding it down. We holding it down. You're not holding it down. Black women collectively are not holding it down. Black people in general are struggling.
This for you. You're willing to let the cobwebs form in your womb, waiting for your black counterpart to show up because it's so difficult for many of you to accept, especially the well-off and educated sisters, that your black male counterpart does not exist. Because no one ever required that they be loyal to you, because you prioritized black love over all other things, over anything that was in your best interest. And the result is men who feel no incentive to prioritize you because your loyalty was a guaranteed outcome. In eliminating the price of your love to black men, you've eliminated all of its value as well. If you, as black women, had any concept of self-preservation, you would recognize that you are underappreciated and undervalued by your own men, and that their very public rejection of you diminishes your desirability in the eyes of others. And if there is any hope for happiness for black women and their future children, different choices in men are necessary. I will not lie to you. It's unlikely that there will be another group of men who will elevate your image above their own women, but it doesn't matter because
So she just told you. Now, why she's trying to do now all of the demonizing pics of black women crying, that she's the propaganda of black women crying, black men beating up on black women being abused. Now the only happy pic she's gonna show is of the white man, the white male that she worships, because she worships them. Okay. The white male that she worships. Oh, now you're going to see the black woman. Oh, I'm just so happy and I'm just so in love and I just feel so appreciated now. Even though she just stated that these men are not going to prefer you over their own women. You're not their preferred option either, but you're trying to make them your preferred option. Well, you see this logic, and this is very dangerous because she is too influential. She is too influential. Sorry. Look now look at this. She's not going to talk about all of the white men that just be out here killing black women. She's not going to talk about that.
Because as it stands right now, even with black women being supposedly everyone's last choice, there are more non-black men in this country interested in being with you than there are black women in the total population. Perks of being such a small minority. And going
where is she getting that from? Where is she getting that from? That's not true. And this isn't because black women are undesirable. Black women are very desirable. First off, I would rather be single for the rest of my life. I would rather not be old and gray in a bed by myself than be with a non-black woman. That's just me personally. But these races of people, they don't even like the dark-skinned people of their own race. They don't even prefer the dark-skinned people in their own race. Why do you think that they would date and marry a black woman? A lot of them sleep with them because they look at black sex as some type of bestiality, gutter sex. And they like that they either look at it as bestiality, gutter sex, or they look at it, oh, like this black woman, this bed wench right here, she'll let me pretend to be a slave master in bed, which is what a lot of them do. A lot of bed wenches and a lot of these divesters, they just want to be a slave. That's just what they want to do. They just want to be a slave in a plantation. Okay? But these non-black men don't be taking them serious. You don't see extremely high marriage rates in non-black men as far as dating and marrying black women. You don't really see that. She's making it seem as if these non-black men are just chomping at the bit for a black woman. They just desire black women so much, despite the fact that the dark-skinned women in their own race, they don't like them, but they want a black woman. And they can't get it because the black woman is just so loyal to the black men. And if only she broadened her options to these Hispanics and these Asians and these Caucasians, she could get the love she's always wanted and the appreciation she's always wanted in a castle, and she'll be treated like Cinderella, and she'll be just sliding down the arm rail and spinning around, and she'll live this fairy tale life with a non-black man. That's what she's projecting.
you can build a stable family isn't a betrayal of the black community. Black men have been talking black and sleeping white for almost a century, and if your uterus is the only tool the community has left to rebuild itself, then it's already over. Course correction is about realizing when you've been taken for a ride and switching gears as soon as you can. To do nothing at this point would make you a two-time loser. Do what the men did, but do it better. Choose better, or go unchosen. I'm Mahogany Pink, and I teach black women the shadow sides of black men and themselves so they feel empowered to work through their baggage, level up, and rest in their femininity the sovereign way. For deeper conversations, join my email list. Instructions are in the description box below. Share this video with a friend. Like.
Harlem, you said you cooking right now? What you cooking? Let me get a plate. Save me a plate. Yeah. Now, something on my Twitter, right? Well, she's trying to talk about how great it is. These non-black men who have a notorious history of abusing their own women. They have a notorious anti-black colorism in their own community where they don't even like the dark-skinned women in their own community. They just want a black woman to treat like a queen. That's what she's saying. So let's go into that. How do these zaddies act when they actually get their white woman, okay? There's this clip on Twitter that I saw. I found this to be very interesting. I want you to listen to this.
I will never stop screaming from the mountaintops that interracial relationships do not cure racism. I grew up with a dad who's not black. And I will never stop screaming from the mountaintops that interracial relationships do not cure racism. I grew up with a dad who's not black, and the amount of anti-blackness that existed in my home, I wasn't allowed to wear braids in my hair because they're ghetto. Wasn't allowed to have nicknames because they're ghetto. They used to make me scrub my knees and my elbows and overall my skin because it was too black. I had this friend in elementary that I used to hang out with named Chelsea, and I was told that I couldn't hang out with Chelsea the first time they met her because she was too black. As an insult one time, my dad told me that I looked like I'm gonna date black men. He looked at my brother and said my brother is the one thing he hates, and when I said, what's that? He said a black man. And I'm just gonna throw out there that he only dates black women. Who he called the N-word anytime he got upset. I once sat in courts for 30 minutes because my aunt refused to let any of the black associates there help her. We had to wait for the one Indian man that worked there to come back. My dad defended Zimmerman.
See, the problem is too many black people think that their sex can change somebody. And this is one of the reasons why I as far as the phone lines, y'all did say that. So yeah, let me pull it up. But this is one of the reasons why I disapprove of black people in interracial relationships, because too many black people just can't handle it. They're not psychologically ready. Okay? They think that their sex changes anything about the way the dominant society feels about them. They get out of bed confused. They're thinking that racism is going down because they get some interracial sex. They get interracial sexual access. This white man, her father, her biological father, is clearly a white supremacist based off of what she's saying. A suspected white supremacist based off of what she's saying. And all he dates is black women. That shows you the whole, oh, well, you know, I just love the sisters because I just love y'all for y'all. No, they don't. When they date you, they not dating you because they love you as a person and see your actual beauty as a person. Excuse me, I'm just doing something on the phone real quick. They're doing that, and they still have the same views, the same nasty, notorious views that that they did before. That's why I don't approve of interracial relationships, because when a black person gets out of bed after interracial sex, they are confused. They're thinking that something's over. Hold on. Let me see. They're thinking that something's over. When a white person or a non-black person gets out of bed with a black person, they're just as notoriously anti-black as they were before. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Okay. Hold on for a second, y'all. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. I'm pulling up the phone lines for a second because I know y'all wanted to call in. And I'm trying to, you know, let y'all get a chance. Damn it. Let me see. Please tell me. Okay, call-in number. That's the call-in number. Is that the call-in number? Hold on, let me see something. Where's the call-in number? Okay. All right, here it is. I'm going to do it like this. So the call-in number is 415-969-2941. That's 415-969-2941. First come, first serve, like always. when I take the thing off, it's gonna be off. I'm not gonna do this like all this video. This broadcast already been like 2 hours long. But y'all want to call in, and we haven't had call-ins for the last few times. And I did tell Better Wenches that you guys, I would be on live, showing you I'm not scared of anything. I'm not scared. If you guys have something to say, if you guys have a disagreement, you guys can feel free to come, and you guys can feel free to voice your disagreement and voice what you have to say. Because apparently a lot of people feel like I get dragged and I get roasted on Twitter, but y'all don't want to come at me on YouTube. On YouTube, y'all don't. This is where y'all can come at me live. Y'all can call. I don't know people's numbers like that, except the most frequent callers. I don't know y'all numbers like that. Y'all can come at me live right now, on air. I don't screen no calls. Okay. The call-in number, thank you, Neo. The call-in number is 415-969-2941. Let's see. Oh, we already have a few callers on here. Here we go. Caller, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear y'all.
Caller, what's your name?
Hey, what's up, Jay?
Hey, what's going on, Dylan?
I
knew it was Dylan, but yeah.
Yeah. Jay, yeah, man, this video, man, I can't stand these coon niggas with this whole all black men is bad, so you need to start dating the white men. Like this, I'm not gonna be nice with this. This bitch on this video over here talking about black men ain't never protected black women, so y'all should go to white men. When the fuck has a white man ever protected the black woman?
Thank you.
What kind of shit is that?
Thank you. Somebody's speaking common sense.
And then on the video, there was one part of the video where she was confusing the hell out of me. I didn't know what she was saying. I had to turn the video off for a quick second because she was getting on my damn nerves. She said something about apparently us black men are using light skin as a buffer class or some dumb shit like that. No, honey. In America, light skin, dark skin, we are still one nigger in the United States. That's how it is. I don't know where it is where you from, because I can tell you definitely not American. You're not a foundational black American. I can honestly tell just by what you just said right there. Because light skin and dark skin, we get treated the same in the U.S. So I don't know what the hell that light skin buffer class she's talking about.
Exactly. The concept of the light skin buffer class, that's not something we have here. We don't have a concept of there's a buffer class. There's like a class in between white and black, and that's the light. We don't do that there. That's something that y'all do in the Caribbean or wherever she's from. I'm not sure if that tends to be. I tend to hear that more often in the Caribbean where they do that, but they do that. I think they do that in some places in Africa as well. But she gave me some strong Caribbean vibes with that, and I need my Caribbean brothers and sisters to check her on that. And that's the thing. That's why I go so hard when I talk about the tethers, because y'all claim to be pro-black and y'all claim to bleed black first, but when y'all people step out of line, y'all know where to be found.
Exactly. And another thing too, that Jay, I'm glad you brought it up when she was talking about how apparently us black men, we give high fives to other black men that date white women. Mm-hmm. Jay, when I see interracial couples, bro, I literally think in my head, what is wrong with that black man? Like, literally, what is wrong with you? Mm-hmm. Literally. I don't say it out loud, but in my head, I'm like, really, nigga?
That's what I think too. I ain't gonna lie. Whatever they decide to do is what they decide to do. I'm not gonna go up to them and say I'm disgusted by you, and I'm just gonna be like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that either. But in my head, I'm like, nigga, really?
Yeah. Like, just why? Why would you do that?
And I can tell you right now, most of the time, if we want to be for real, it's a lot of the Afro coons, the Caribbean coons, that come to America that's dating the white women most of the time. If we want to be completely honest.
Yep. Let's speak facts. You gotta tell it.
It's the Afro
It's them.
coons and the Caribbean coons.
It's them damn tethers who worship whiteness.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you get the
And then
last
this-
word,
this-
Dylan, and
this-
then
this
I'm
nigga-
gonna get to a couple other callers.
Y'all leave a like and whatnot. Y'all subscribe to my channel at Dallas Dilly. I got a video coming out later on tonight, so y'all check that out. And y'all keep supporting Afro Elite. Get the merchandise. And yeah, I'm gone. Peace out.
Peace out. Dylan is such a great supporter, isn't he? Shout out to our brother Dylan. His channel is Dallas Dilly. Okay, young brother, B1 on code and everything. Okay, let me get to you. Caller, can you hear us?
Hey, Afro, can y'all hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. This is Harlem Brown. What's up, family?
Hey, hey, sister, how
We
you
are going
doing?
to have to. Good. I love seeing you. I love listening to your word and your message because of your age. I'm 56, and I'm to the point now where we can't carry anyone else along. You either be one or be done because some shit is coming in terms of starvation, whatever, New World Order, Flat Earth, it doesn't matter. We are disproportionately affected regardless of the situation. We're going to have to close ranks. We're going to have to pay attention excuse me, to the history that we've had. It's time. And I mean, I carry no weight on my neck. If you're not for us, if you're against us, that's the only thing. And when you're pro-black doesn't mean you're anti-white. The same as if you're pro-white, you are anti-black. Some of my good friends who are white, we get into these conversations and they get uncomfortable. So that means you're not accepting the truth because you're uncomfortable. But it's not my job to manage your comfort. And hey, Torian, I see all y'all neon black, love you all. Some chick named Star. It's time. This world's finna go down. And if we don't close ranks, we are done. We are done. Appreciate your time. Love you all.
Thank you, sister. That was Harlem Brown. Thank you. She's absolutely right. I don't know if she's still. She's absolutely right. We don't have time to be playing games. We do not have time to be playing games. It is now or never. Okay? We got to get the real ones and we got to band together and we got to get this stuff done. We have to speak the truth no matter who it offends, who it hurts, or what friendships or relationships it affects. The truth must be spoken. We must live by the truth and die by the truth, okay? Because this is our last chance. Okay? Let's keep it real. We can do it, but this is it. But that was Harlem Brown. Thank you, sister. Thank you for calling. Please call again.
Love y'all.
Okay. That was our sister Harlem Brown. Let's get to the next caller. Caller, can you hear us?
What's going on, Jay? I can hear you.
Hey, how you doing?
This is Torian.
Torian, yeah, I recognize your voice. Torian, how you doing, brother?
Man, listen, I feel like I lost all brain cells listening to this. Like, you should have saw how frustrated I was getting on the other side of the screen just listening to this. Because I never heard this before. And the thing is, I don't know if I've ever heard of this person, this Mahogany Pink individual. And, like, when you was, like, literally, like, midway through the video, I actually went to go and search their channel. They only have 9 videos on their entire channel, and each one of them has over 100,000 views. Talking the same rhetoric. That's scary. That means with 9 videos and not having a channel up for that long, and to get that many views per video, means they have built a base that wants to hear this. So that means that's 100,000 people that is watching on average every single video that this person puts up. Now, the last video they said they put up was like about a month ago, which I think was like the part 2 to the video that you just did, which was part 1. So they may pop up again. They're going to get more. Now, I have some issues, when it comes to YouTube and their algorithm. Notice how YouTube pushes this in their algorithm. This is what gets pushed. But we don't get pushed like that. And we don't even come close to talking about this kind of stuff because this is has a whole audience for this. This is what gets views. A lot of times what they're talking about is they're doing it for views and clicks and money anyway. Some of them don't even mean half of the stuff they say, but then some of them actually really do mean what they actually say. I think this person actually means what they say because I can hear it in their voice. And I had posted up on my Twitter. Account. I said, and I posted a link to this exact video you was going over. I said, this video right there is going to have a lot of black women getting caught up in situations that they can't walk back from. And I think we both know what that means. I just posted my video up over an hour ago about Lawrence Smith Field. They just released the name of the guy and his identity who was last seen with her. They call him a nice guy. Meanwhile, in the apartment that she was in, they found a used condom, blood on the sheets, and a bottle of lube. He was the only person that was there with her, but he's a nice guy, though. And apparently, allegedly, she used to listen to one of these divesters on here. Now, I said, if it had been me, and she was to live and survive this, and she was to say, give a name of whoever, she was listening to, or like whatever she listened to, I would have brought them up on accessory charges. Because that means you basically told her to go to this person or go and do this. You guided them there. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these women, because, like I said, that they were having a bad fourth quarter in December. And I said, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them listen to a lot of these divestors on here or any other social media platform. And now look what's going on. I think it was in December. It's like three or four of them died within a month or so, like between November and December.
Yeah, I think it was. It was like every other week we were hearing another case or something like that. It was like every other week.
Yeah, and that's it. Exactly. And like now you have this whole situation with Lawrence Smith Fields, and now her family is trying to figure stuff what's going on. They up there in Connecticut. The cops aren't doing the investigation the way that they're supposed to be doing. I said, like, this literally reminds me of Ed Buck, but in reverse. Instead of it being a white guy preying on black men, it's a white guy who was preying on a black woman. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Ed Buck story, but, like with him, he was a major Democratic donor out there in California. Mm-hmm. And he had ties to people such as Hillary Clinton, the Clintons and everything like that. And one summer, this one black guy who happened to be in the academy went to go see him, basically tricking. I guess that's the best way to put it. And he never made it out of the apartment alive. A few months later, in January, that following year, same thing happened, but this time it was an older black man who was probably, I think, like maybe in his 50s. So he was a bit older. He was a bit closer in age to Ed Buck opposed to the previous one who was in his 20s. He was much younger, and the same thing, same result. But then the third one happened. But the thing is, the third one, Ed Buck wasn't able to take this one out. He was able to survive it. He was able to get to the proper authorities. And then that's when they finally went over there and did the investigation and said, okay, something is not right. And that's, fast forward, Ed Buck is currently in jail right now for the two, I guess you could say two murders now at this point, because that's what he's in jail for. Mm-hmm. Practically, most likely, hopefully, for the rest of his life. So that shows you right there that when it comes to divesting, not only does it happen when it comes to clearly with black women, but it also happens with black people who also live, I guess you can say, an alternative lifestyle. But it's crazy because they love to say that the black men or heterosexual black men are the most homophobic, but it was people such as myself and Tariq that was like one of the first two to actually talk about the whole Ed Buck situation. And even after that, many people over there still wasn't even talking about it. And it was like, how could you not talk about it, especially when even the news was talking about it, which was shocking. Because, they wouldn't really shed light on it like that, but y'all still had all this smoke for us. But you have a whole white man who's on trial for killing not one, but two members of your community.
You make a good point.
What's really going on here?
You make a good point because, you have all of these like advocacy groups who talk about how the black male, the straight black male, is so homophobic and how they're oppressed within the community, and how much harm is done to them. And you had this case where people are losing their life. It's not like people are getting made fun of or being called names. You have black men who, live that life and are a part of that community who are losing their life, and you didn't really hear them make a lot of noise about that even after the arrest were made. You didn't even hear them really, even during the trial, to be honest. I didn't even really hear them making that much noise about it.
Exactly. You really didn't. You really didn't hear like much about it at all, because they were still busy trying to find a way to make us look like the bad guy. Like, that's basically what they were trying to do and still continue to do. But I have some commentaries coming up about that. I actually did one recently about this guy named Kenny Walden. I'm not sure if you saw it, where he basically got on there and was defending Kamala the Chameleon because he's like a huge stan of hers, and basically he was subliminally throwing shots at black men, but he wasn't trying to say black men. But we could read through the line and basically saying that we were calling her this and that and the third. But I'm like, dude, like, if you really took the time to really examine who she is, you would be feeling a different. You would feel a whole different type of way about it. But it's people like that you can't break through. Like, they already built up their wall, so it's like talking to a brick wall with steel on the other side.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I haven't seen that one yet, but I definitely got to check that one out. And your upcoming content, I definitely got to check that out too. And you make up a good point. I want to touch on this before I forget, about how the algorithm pushes these divestment channels. If you look, black first content creators got to go above and beyond to make sure our content gets out, and it constantly gets shadow banned, it constantly gets flagged and copyright strikes and all that stuff. They get to constantly use these divestors. They make only a few videos and they get like 500,000 subscribers or something. There's clear because not only does the algorithm push them and does not try to interrupt their channel or give them any flack, but there is a large amount of divestors. Okay, we're gonna have to start telling the truth about the divestors. Isn't just these couple little people you see on Twitter or something, like a few trolls you might see on Twitter. There is a growing audience, and that's why we need to address this, because like you said, they'll make decisions just like, unfortunately, our sister Lauren made decisions she can't come back from. She can't come back, and now her family's trying to seek justice, and the police are giving them a hard time, pretty much telling them there's nothing that they can do, because he seems like the dude, I don't know his name, but the dude seems like he's a good dude. He's a nice guy. But they're not gonna, when they talk about, the black man doesn't protect the black woman. The black man has never protected the black woman. What about Lauren Fields? What about Breonna Taylor? Okay, didn't Breonna Taylor's boyfriend, what's his name, Kenneth Walker, shoot at the police? Now, of course, at the time he didn't know that was the police, but didn't he shoot at the intruders trying to protect Breonna? And
Exactly.
Didn't he try to do that? While they're talking about the black man doesn't protect the black woman, and then the white cops wound up shooting Breonna and letting her die. But these divestors don't want to tell that story.
That was the part that got me towards the end of this video that you were playing, was like that whole little tangent that she went on for like the last 5 to 10 minutes. It's like, first off, nothing that she was saying in this video made any sense. And whatever stats she pulled, we know where she pulled them from. But that last 10 minutes, it's like if there was any legitimacy that she could have had in the first part of this video, went out the window completely. And she just went on her bed wench babble, her little minstrel rant, as I like to call it, and decided that whatever she put out there was going to be factual. But like I said, she only has 9 videos on her whole channel She hasn't uploaded anything in a month, but every last one of those videos has over 100,000 views, including the one you just went over. I think that one had like 165,000 views, but 9 videos. So she has a small channel, but the algorithm pushed her heavily because that's what the algorithm likes, or at least one of the things that they like. They hate us, but they love and lust that, and it's a reason for that. It's because they love to see they love to see the infighting. They know what that there's an audience for that, and they pushed it hard. Like that's the part that got me the most, was seeing how small the channel was. But you would think with those kind of views that she had like over 100,000 subscribers, but not with 9 videos.
Yeah, you think it is suspicious. And Neo Black, you bring up, you feel like a lot of these divesters are white stock puppet accounts. Some of them have been exposed for fake accounts. A lot of them do, and I noticed that this specific channel, she has her subscriptions hidden. She has a lot of views, but she has her subscriptions hidden. I feel like she has a lot of fake views or whatnot, but somehow I know she is still influential is because the comments are real, and she has over 7,000 comments, so she does have a decent following. So she
actually,
yeah.
And actually too, like also while you was doing it, like I was typing in the title of, like I typed her name in the search in the title of the video, and it was some person that I'm familiar with who was doing a response video to her. Like they go through and they examine types of things, sort of like what you were doing. And man, you should have saw all the comments that came from her supporters in there, because there was another black woman who was of Haitian descent, and I believe she is in a relationship with a black man. And she was going through and like looking at the video, because she's she's like a person, I guess you can say, she comes from an unbiased tone. Sometimes she can be a little bit biased, but with this one, she really wasn't. So she was seeing points that she could agree with and points that she didn't agree with. And man, when I was looking through her comments, it was like an overflow of people calling her mammy, pick me, and all. I said I don't really need to read too much, because it's going to be some of the same type of rhetoric over and over again, just written by different people and written in a different way. Mm-hmm. So because they were saying that, another thing that gets me when it comes to these divestors, and it's something that she pointed out in her video, was when it comes to divesting, or whenever it comes to interracial dating, when it comes to them in particular, it seems to me they're always doing it in a competition with black men who interracially date. It's almost like they're trying to say, oh, if black men can interracially date, then I can do it better. She even said in the video, at the very end, she said, and it's not in verbatim, that, black men, they're free to do interracially date however they want, but guess what? We over here, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it better. I said, that sounds so childish. So you're basically trying to compete to see who can date out more, or who can date better outside of their race. That is so stupid. You're making it a competition.
You make a good point.
So now that just tells me that you're not doing it for the person. So basically what you're telling me is you're not doing it for the person that you in a relationship with, because you love them. You're doing it because you're trying to compete with black men. So now you're doing it for a status look.
Yeah, that's why I said in the when I was doing my debunking of her video, I'm like, this feels like this is personal. This feels like this is a personal thing. It feels like she has been personally hurt. Someone personally hurt her feelings when it comes to black men dating interracially. Because why does it matter to you if the small minority, because the minority of black men do it, but if the small minority do, you're trying to compete. Like, what is there to compete for? You're not gaining anything. Like, that shows me that you got something personal involved in this.
Yeah. And I think that what a lot of it is, or it does come from a quote-unquote personal standpoint, but a lot of them, like I said before, I don't think many of them actually mean it. They're just hopping on the bandwagon. They see that it gets views and it gets clicks. Like I just told you, she got videos and have thousands of views on every last one of them. So, like I said, she could all intents and purposes can not mean a word that's coming out of her mouth. But if she knows it'll get views and it'll make money, she's going to continue to talk about it because she knows that there are some hopeless, unfortunately, black women out there that will listen and eat every last word of it up. And I do mean every word of it. I said, okay, y'all keep playing Russian roulette with your life, and you'll end up like one of those 3 or 4 or 5 black women that ended up meeting their fate at the hands of their little white knight.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to try to be funny. I'm just saying that because it's real.
It is, and that's why we got to speak on it. I mean, I honestly, whatever she decides to do, I don't care. It's the fact that she's not only doing what she's doing, she's trying to influence other young black women to do this, to follow behind the same suicidal path she's on.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't in good conscience allow that to happen.
Mm-hmm. But listen, I didn't mean to take up too much of your time, but see, listen, I already had you on my platform, so when we go into it, we get into it. But yeah, I just wanted to, just call and give my 2 cents, because there might be some more people that's behind me. They probably like, hurry up and get off this phone so I can talk. But I appreciate you taking the call up.
No problem. I'm about to get off here too, actually. That was Torian Rain Reloaded. You guys should check his channel out. He's actually been a moderator in the chat room. Him and Dylan both called in. They're moderators in the chat room. They both have channels talking about black empowerment and things like that. So definitely check him out. I appreciate everybody who has called. I appreciate everybody who has liked. If you guys have not subscribed, please subscribe. It really helps the channel to leave a like and to share as well, and to leave a comment below. So if you're watching this on a playback, or if you're watching this live after the recorded video, you guys can leave a comment on what you think about Mahogany Pink and what you think about this broadcast in general. I will be making, I guess I might turn this into a series too, because I do have to address the Manosphere Kevin Samuels ilk. So I do have to address that as well, because what I dislike is the narrative of we blame one party for the community's issues. As black men, we cannot just be blaming black women for everything bad in the community, but as black women, they should not be blaming everything bad in the community on black men either. Okay, we do have to understand there are both things that we can both fix about each other. Okay, no group between the black male and the black female is perfect. Okay, there is improvement that needs to be done amongst everyone. All right. So I will be making the video addressing them as well. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned. The Manosphere, and the Manosphere is pretty much like the male version of divesters. That's pretty much what they turn themselves into. Exactly. B1 family, if you guys want to follow me on my social media, you can follow me at J_Elite10. The link is in the description below. Dylan brought this up too. I do have I don't really advertise as much because I'm working on a new project, new sale coming up soon, but I do sell merchandise like this hoodie right here, so you guys can, that link is in the description below if you guys want to check that out. I really appreciate that. But I got to get out of here, family. You all, black love is the key. Black love is the key. Okay. Black love or no love. All right. Like I said, I really appreciate all of you all for sticking here. I appreciate all of the comments. Some of them I haven't read through because I was in the middle of the doing what I was doing. So I'm going to read through after the playback. When the comments come back up, I will definitely find out what you guys have been saying. But thank you guys for being here. Y'all stay safe, family. I'm out of here.